What is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. And the Ram event is over. I've been spending my time here and am about to roll home shortly. What I am finding interesting is the reception that everybody and what everybody has talked about with the trucks that were just announced with the Rumblebee. But what if that's not just it? Because Tim said there could be more. I don't know if you caught that or not. We're going to get into all that and more right after this. Guys, before we get into today's video, we have to talk about the giveaway we have here on the channel. We are launching the SRT10 Dodge Viper. That's right, the Dodge Viper is now live on the channel. It's in the link in the description down below. Extra entries are open to the first 10 orders at the different levels that are there. TK'sgarage.bigcartel.com. We also have the SRT10 Viper truck. Both of them are 2005s. Both of them are in impeccable condition. Definitely go check it out. Link in the description down below. All right, so let's get into this. And I'm going to play a clip for you here in a second. So I got a chance to do an interview with Tim Kuniskis yesterday, with the CEO of Ram. And we got into pricing, and he corrected me on the fact that there's 4 Rumblebees. One of them happened to be a drag pack, and one of them being, the 392 with a totally different setup and having that same front fascia as the Hellcat version, or the SRT version. So the other ones have bumpers or bumper trucks, and that's what kind of threw me off. Because if you remember when we did the original, when I dropped the original leak on this truck, which from a mule that was running around at Sterling Heights Assembly Plant, the black one, right? That was a bumper truck. That was a 5.7. That was a basic version of the Rumblebee that they were testing out before they put these 3 together, the 6.4, the 6.2, and the gray 5.7. Now, he also said, and I'm going to run this clip here in a second, that there's maybe another edition or more coming. It would make sense, because when we were getting a lot of the initial leaks, a lot of the initial information in, I was like, okay, this makes sense. And I remember all of that 426 talk. Remember that? All of that 426 talk. And then, when I got the data on that black truck and the VIN number, I was like, this is a 5.7. It's not a 426. Maybe both are correct.
6.2, which will get you divorced.
You one. You got the 5.7.
Yep. Underneath the track back.
No e-torque.
Yep.
And you got 6.4.
Yep.
Bumper truck.
Yep.
6.4 bumper truck.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can option up to a track pack on the 6.4,
Yep.
which will give you the fascia of the SRT, and will give you the air suspension of the SRT. And then you go up to the supercharged.
So we go to the divorce is at
and that 4-car walk,
yeah,
there may or may not be the end of the story.
And that 4-car walk, there may or may not be the end of the story.
So as you heard Tim say there could be more. There could be something else. And I think that something else could be a demon truck. Or, I got a bunch of information all of a sudden, and they did mention the Daytona truck during the event. If you remember, they did mention the Daytona. They did mention the dude. The dude was there. I find that interesting. And it was parked next to, the Little Red Express and the Viper truck. It was parked next to other stuff that obviously they don't make anymore. But it was interesting to see the dude truck present. Running, driving, all that good stuff, right? It was interesting to see that. Now, the big thing for me is, Tim likes to drop little hints here and there. He does it in interviews. He does it on social media posts. They do it in the commercials. You have to know what to look for, right? And I find that interesting, like, to say that, because I was getting a bunch of shit about the fact that the 426, I repeated what the sources were telling me, that the 426 was coming, and people were like, oh, it's not happening, it's not happening. But what if, because remember the Demon 170 was supposed to be a modified or different 426. Do you remember that? It would not totally shock me if all of the sudden the 426 or a Demon 170 engine would come into play with these Rumblebees. But would it still be a Rumblebee? Or would they call it a Daytona? Or would they call it something else? That's the interesting part. What do you think they would call this Rumblebee truck if they put a Demon 170 engine in it? Would it be a Demon Ram? Would it be a Demon truck? It would set unprecedented territory, because the current Rumblebee right now with the Hellcat engine in it currently owns the record as the fastest production truck. They are pushing for 170 miles an hour. Could they go balls out and put a Demon 170 engine in it and go for 200? It wouldn't surprise me in the least. It really wouldn't. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like what I do. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, stay petty, my friends.
For the longest time. Whoa. For the longest time.
Percocet, Miley Percocet, Percocet, Miley Percocet, Percocet.